time. We're taxed enough already. Tea time, and we really had enough. It's tea time. We're taxed enough already. Tea time, and we really had enough.
Greetings. My name is Tim Adriance, and welcome to Tea Time with the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition. We're here to talk about the Tea Party movement in Northeast New Jersey, what it means, who they are, who we are, and what is it all about. I'm with my co-host, Ray Rinaldi.
Hello.
Ray, we've known each other for about a year. Actually, it's a little bit more than a year.
Yep.
It all started on the courthouse steps in Hackensack.
Oh, I remember it well. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a mother and a grandmother of 9, and never in a million years would I have thought I would be an activist. It all started back in November, right after the election. And
That would be in November of 2009.
2008.
Wow, time is
actually.
passing.
Yes, I know. Goes very quickly. And I, kept watching first the bank bailouts. And then after Obama got into office, it was AIG, and then he took over General Motors, and then he took over Chrysler, and then the $787 billion stimulus package that they were going to pass. And I would write my representatives, I would email them, phone calls, and the response I received was insulting.
So it's safe to say that you were a very frustrated
I was
taxpayer?
very frustrated. And, I thought, as a taxpayer who's paying their salaries, they can't even give me answers to my questions. And at one point, the one email, I forget what it was about, but I wrote back and I said, you didn't answer my question. And I got the same email, the same response. So it really infuriated me to think that I was being totally dismissed, plus the fact that I was upset that my children and grandchildren were they're stealing this money. Where are they going to get it? I mean, today the deficit, I think it's up to $14 trillion.
But you felt like you were a lone taxpayer out there in the wilderness.
I really did. I felt, that nobody was listening, and it was very frustrating. So, I was watching Fox News one day, and they had this woman on, Amy Kramer, with the Tea Party Patriots.
Yeah.
And she was organizing all these rallies across the United States to, voice dismay at the way the government was going.
Now, you mentioned Amy Kramer, though,
right.
and most people out there, they don't realize who she is. She was just a regular mom,
right,
who I think, because of the turmoil in the housing industry and so forth, had lost her house through foreclosure, and she, like yourself, realized that we as Americans had to do something to take our country back.
Right. And
now, you did something. What did you do?
She posted her website online, and I went on, and I actually called her also, and she said that she would email me all the instructions on how to go about holding a Tea Party rally in my town, or in our county.
You put the important word rally in there.
Well,
because
actually,
being a grandmother of 9, I'm sure there's some people that are confused out there. They're thinking that we're just around drinking tea with our little piggies. No, it has nothing to do with that, does it?
Actually, I called it a gathering. That's actually what I called it. And so she told me how to go about it. So I went, I thought, because Bergen County, the seat of Bergen County was the courthouse, I thought that would be a very visible sign, and where better place to hold a rally or a gathering. So I went through the channels, and I did get permission to have it on the courthouse steps. So, and I only had like 6 days to post it. So I posted it on the Tea Party Patriots, and I also had the opportunity to go on Fox and Friends in the morning of the Tea Party rally, and so I was able to give the information on the television. But right after I got permission, I went on a website. I ordered 3 T-shirts, one for my husband, one for myself, and one for my sister Jenna.
Now, why only 3?
Well, because I thought we'll probably be the only 3 people there.
So you really thought there were only going to be 3 people that would show up?
Well,
at the
you know,
courthouse?
maybe a handful, but it didn't matter. I just felt that it was important that I personally do something and not just sit by idly.
Now, you didn't really plan an event, as I recall.
I had nothing planned. I had nothing.
You just figured that you would show up and...
We made our signs.
Okay.
And, you know, it was voicing our First Amendment right to, you know, protest and to voice our opinion. And I just really felt that it was doing something rather than doing nothing.
You thought that you would go to the Bergen County Courthouse steps with your family, with your 3 shirts and your signs, and you folks would stand there and possibly just sing God Bless America and let the message get out.
Exactly. I had absolutely no program.
Now, what actually happened, though?
Well,
how many people showed up?
Well, we get to the courthouse, and, you know, before you know it, there was close to 350 people. And they all had signs. And they were, you know, I was like, it was empowering to see how many people felt the same way.
I remember that. There were like 300 people that showed up.
Yep.
And when I got there, it was quite a crowd.
Yeah. And people were coming up to me and they said, we thought we were the only ones that felt this way. So it was unanimous that, you know, here we were, and we really thought that we were in the minority, when in fact, we're not in the minority anymore. We are the majority. And they did try to ignore us and dismiss us. And it was very empowering, and it was, I felt so patriotic. And like I said, we started to sing God Bless America and the Star Spangled Banner, and people were just honking their horns going by. And at one point, this young man came by, and I call him God's angel. And he asked if he could say a few words. So on that note, I'm going to ask Tim, because this is the man who came up to me, and he rallied the crowd with his knowledge of the Constitution and also the fact that your family is from the Revolutionary War. You had a wealth of information.
So I'm a young man. Last time I looked in the mirror, I wasn't sure of that.
And you really rallied the crowd. I mean, you had such information, and it was wonderful. I mean, I thank God that you showed up, because I don't know how many more times we could have sang God Bless America.
Yeah. Well, you know, when we got there, well, you know, it's quite a story. We're going to be right back in a few minutes, folks, and we're going to stop and have a commercial break. When we get back from that commercial break, we're going to let you know what happened on that day, how the Tea Party movement started here in Northeast New Jersey, and who we really are and what we're up to.
If you are dissatisfied with how our elected officials are handling the people's business, how they're ignoring your best interests and going beyond the bounds of their elected responsibilities, you should visit the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition's website at www.njteapartycoalition.org. You may find a common voice to your concerns on how our government is functioning, and discover a means to help restore our nation based on the proven principles of the Constitution. The New Jersey Tea Party Coalition is a nonpartisan grassroots fellowship. Our membership includes Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated voters. We believe in the Constitution. We are also committed to encouraging and prodding our local, state, and federal governments to practicing sound and responsible fiscal procedures. For more information, you can find the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition on Facebook, or visit our website at www.njteapartycoalition.org.
Welcome back to Tea Time with the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition. I'm Tim, and I'm with Ray.
Hello.
Just before we went to our break, we were talking about the first Tea Party on the courthouse steps of Bergen County back in April of 2009.
And
Now, I remember when I showed up.
Do you?
You were there.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know who you were, and I didn't know who was in charge. There were, as we looked at, 300 plus, 350
sure.
people standing along the sides of the road, waving to the cars, hearing people honking and cheering in response to the signs. It was a spontaneous movement of excitement that wasn't just happening in Bergen County, but it was happening throughout the entire country.
Yeah, yeah. It was really very surprising to see all those people and to hear them, you know, voice their First Amendment right again, and to it just felt like I wasn't alone, and it really was. It was a good
You certainly
feeling.
were not alone.
No, oh no, no, and thank God that you showed up, though.
Well,
I have to say.
I'll tell you. You know what got me going on that day. Of course, it was April 15th. It
Right.
was tax day.
Right.
And being self-employed, I do not want to pay those taxes until I absolutely have to. And I had to write a fairly good check to the federal government that day. And I remember taking off about 10 o'clock in the morning from my job site and going over to the post office with my 3 envelopes, one for New Jersey, one for the state of New York, and of course one for the federal government. And when I got to the post office, that post office employee looked at me with a stern face and she said, "Are there any powders or liquids in these envelopes?" And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Are there any powders or liquids in these envelopes?" I said, "It's just my tax returns. I'm a taxpayer. I'm just trying to pay my taxes." She asked me another time,
Really?
"Are there powders or liquids in these envelopes?" I said, "What do I look like, you know, a terrorist? Give me a break." I was so fed up. I had heard about this thing called the Tea Party.
Right.
And I saw what the Bergen Record had put out about your publicity. I also heard that there was one in Morristown. I was so upset that I got in my car and I went to Morristown. When I got there, I was just amazed. That town green in Morristown was filled with close to 1,500 people.
Yeah.
And they had a program that was highly organized. And one of the things that I picked up was a printout of what they called the the Morristown Declaration.
I remember that.
It was based on the Declaration of Independence, and I stuffed it in my pocket.
It had grievances on it.
It had yes,
The
it was
grievances, right? Yeah.
like the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
It had the grievances that we had against the government back in 1776 that are very much like the grievances we have against the government of 2009, 2010, and I'll tell you, I left Morristown excited. I knew now that I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And when I got to Hackensack and I picked up my kids from school and I went down to the green and I saw the crowd that spontaneously had assembled there, I remember you standing there singing "God Bless America." And I wasn't, and so I thought you might have been in charge, and I said, "Do you mind if I read this?" And you said, "Sure." So I read the grievances. The only thing I changed was I changed the words Morristown to Hackensack.
Right, right.
And it was amazing. As I recall, your permit said that we weren't supposed to use the courthouse steps.
True, and we couldn't have a microphone, we couldn't have bullhorns, but you didn't need one.
Well, I didn't need one,
Thank God.
and neither did some of the people that were in the crowd.
No, I know. And you know, what was nice about the crowd was that they were Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Independents. I mean, they crossed
and a punk
all
rocker.
party and a punk rocker. You're
Remember,
right.
he
Yes.
had purple hair, and he
Yes.
shows up with the sign down with
yes.
high taxes.
Yeah, and
I was amazed.
Yeah, it really, and you know, you really kind of pulled the crowd in because you got everybody started, and then people after you spoke, other people, a lot of immigrants who came from communist countries.
Yeah, and there was one man, I think he was from Cuba, or he was a recent immigrant. He had just gotten off a bus, and he saw this.
In Hackensack, yeah.
Yeah, he got off the bus, and he saw these people declaring liberty and freedom and the idea that we have rights in this country, and he just joined into the crowd right then and there with everyone else. It was
powerful.
amazing. It was extremely powerful.
Yeah. And your knowledge of, you know, and maybe you could tell the people about your family history as far as the Revolutionary War. I mean, it's fascinating.
Well,
fascinating.
My family goes back, I'm 11 generations here in Bergen County, and I had numerous relatives that fought in the American Revolution. And they assembled right there on the green in Hackensack. They were part of the action that happened there. So the idea of the American Revolution and liberty and freedom is something that I was taught as a young child. Not so much that I learned it in school as I learned it from my father and from my grandfather. because they had learned it from their grandfathers, who actually were part of the things that happened in 1776.
Wow.
And the idea of freedom and liberty was something that was instilled to me as a child. And the fact that there's a price to be paid for preserving and keeping our liberty.
Yeah.
I remember going to the battlefield of Antietam, where the single bloodiest day in American history happened on September 17th of 1862, 23,000 American casualties. And I remember standing there watching tears coming out of my father's eyes.
And where was this?
In Maryland. We went on a family trip. My father was telling me about the sacrifice that these men paid there in 1862. And I also remember Memorial Day, seeing my father look at the monument in town, and he would say, well, I knew him because he was in my high school class. And he went to Canada not to escape the war, but to actually be a part of the fight against Germany.
Wow.
And the tyranny of Nazism. And here we are today with a fight to preserve our country.
Yeah,
you know, it's amazing that when you read the Declaration of Independence, the words that are contained in that document are just as true today as they were then. All you have to do is just change the names.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that Benjamin Franklin was asked when the Constitution was done. He walked out of the hall there in Philadelphia, and the woman asked him, what kind of government have you given us?
Right.
And he said, a republic if you can keep it.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Thomas Jefferson. He had said that when the government is afraid of the people, that's liberty. But when the people are afraid of the government, that's tyranny.
Yes. And
yeah.
how many people are afraid of what the government is going to be doing next?
Yeah. Well,
and taking away of our rights.
You know, I have to say for so long, myself included, I was a bit apathetic because I really didn't understand the political system. And, you know, you vote for these people in office and you feel that they're going to take care of you and that they know, you know, that they have your interests. But it became glaring to me that they didn't have our interest at heart.
No, they don't.
And, you know, like I said, I never thought that I'd become an activist. And
so, yeah, so...
You know, and if it wasn't for you, and then we have two other co-founders, Michelle Talamo and Brian Baldwin. And Michelle is a PR person, and what doesn't she do?
Right.
She does everything. I mean, she's really
And Brian
wonderful.
does an excellent job on our website.
Oh, Brian is our IT guy.
And everyone needs to visit our website,
yes.
NewJerseyTeaPartyCoalition.org. It's an excellent site. You'll learn a lot.
Very informative.
And an opportunity for you to get involved in the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition, a grassroots movement to preserve our liberty right here in Northeast New Jersey.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, you know, our soldiers are fighting on the front line. We have to fight here.
Right. We need to fight for our liberty. It's something that's important. Get involved.
If you are dissatisfied with how our elected officials are handling the people's business, how they're ignoring your best interests and going beyond the bounds of their elected responsibilities, you should visit the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition's website at www.njteapartycoalition.org. You may find a common voice to your concerns on how our government is functioning and discover a means to help restore our nation based on the proven principles of the Constitution. The New Jersey Tea Party Coalition is a nonpartisan grassroots fellowship. Our membership includes Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated voters. We believe in the Constitution. We are also committed to encouraging and prodding our local, state, and federal governments to practicing sound and responsible fiscal procedures. For more information, you can find the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition on Facebook or visit our website at www.njteapartycoalition.org.
It's tea time. We're taxed enough already. Tea time. And we really have...
Welcome back to Tea Time with the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition. My name is Tim, and I'm here with one of our other co-founders, Michelle Talamo. Michelle, that day in Hackensack that Ray and I were talking about earlier, was a very momentous day. It was a large crowd. I don't even remember seeing you in that crowd.
Probably not. I was wearing a cap, a ponytail, and just getting into the swing of things. I found it amazing that there were so many people that showed up to be heard, and it was actually uplifting to see that there were so many people who thought the way that I thought, felt the way that I felt, and really stepped up to the plate to be heard. So it was really a great day.
There was no real organization on that day. I mean, Ray, you know, we all love her and she has a great heart. And there was this idea to do something, but no idea what to do. And I do recall that I was so excited that I went home, grabbed my newspaper where I had remembered seeing her name in there, and I looked her up in the phone book and called her up. And I must have given her my email address at that point, and you, I think, had given her your email address, and there were other people in the crowd that had given email addresses. And I remember that we being so new and naive at this whole idea of a spontaneous nationwide movement that we all of a sudden started sending emails to everybody, reply all, to an email list of about 100 individuals.
Yeah, that's right. We had a lot of people sending emails back and forth. The frustration was high. People wanted to be heard. They wanted to share information. And there were a lot of emails going out. And at that point, I went out to the people and said, let's just hold the emails a little bit. Give us a week to get this organized, and we'll come back to you. And everybody just was, I think, happy to have that happen. And then we met at the diner. I had Ray's email address. I contacted her. She had your information. We met at the diner, and really that's how it was born.
Oh, I remember that day very well at the diner. Ray had gotten there first, and I kind of knew what she looked like because I remembered from the green, and she kind of recognized me, so we sort of knew each other. And then you showed up, but we all three kind of looked at each other wondering which one was the government informant and who was going to drag us off for exercising our First Amendment rights. Because this spontaneous Tea Party movement, this idea of the American public speaking out and getting involved with what's going on in the country is something that the elites who have been running Washington can't stand. They don't like us at all.
Well, when you think about it, it's only been a little over a year, and we now have thousands of people involved in New Jersey State, not only through our organization, but as you know, we are a member of New Jersey Tea Party United, Tea Parties United, and you could find that also on the web. It's njteapartiesunited.org, and anyone in the state can find a group near them. It has 16 major groups, very active groups in the state of New Jersey. We have bus trips, we all have events, we all have rallies, we have ways to get involved, and people are stepping up to the plate with their own ideas. This show, in fact, is the idea of one of our own people, a grassroots effort. We are definitely from the bottom up, and our people go out to others, and what they take our information, they take what is shared, we share amongst each other. We are really only strong enough as our group, and our group is a very strong, informed, educated group. And our people have sublists. When we share information, they trickle it down to their sublists. So the information at lightning speed is traveling through New Jersey and reaching all corners of New Jersey State.
It's been said that email and the internet is the musket of the 21st century. Now, that day when we met at the diner, you had the vision that this idea of a Tea Party movement would be statewide, at least in New Jersey. And I remember that you came up with the idea of the name New Jersey Tea Party Coalition, because it would be a group of tea parties throughout the state. Now, we're focused mainly in Northeast New Jersey, but eventually we did band together with all the other groups throughout the state, and we did create with them New Jersey Tea Parties United. But the idea of getting a web site up is something that we needed immediately. And we brought in Brian Baldwin. I remember Brian coming into the diner that second time we visited, And you and me and Ray, we looked at Brian with his ponytail, and we thought, he doesn't quite fit the model of what we think a conservative should look like. Maybe he is the government informant.
Well, I think we knew very quickly when Brian explained why he was involved with the Tea Party movement, and his remarks were so similar to our own thoughts that we knew that he was definitely someone we had to have. He was so well informed as well, so involved, and him bringing up the idea of having the website was fantastic. So,
oh, yeah, I mean, you know, over the last year and some change, I've gotten an opportunity to really meet and speak with Brian, and he's a family man. He's got a great heart, and as a creative individual, his website that he's created, NewJerseyTeaPartyCoalition.org, is absolutely amazing. How do people get involved?
People get involved by going to our website. They can certainly, if they don't have access to the internet, will be able to reach us at P.O. Box 45, Cliffside Park, New Jersey, 07010. But they get involved by making calls to their legislators, telling them what they need. They get involved on the local level. As you know, we have plenty of our membership are now involved in both parties on their county committees. And in that way, they're involved on the local level. The idea is to also be able to become more personally acquainted with your legislative offices and to visit them, let them know who you are and how you feel about certain things. So that's extremely important. We also have people that have tables at fairs and events where they're advertising who we are and what's to be had at the different events. So on a number of fronts. We also have, and I would like to certainly point out, the Tea Party Times, the People paper, has the insignia of the New Jersey Tea Party United. This was the brainchild of a gal in Monmouth Ocean at the Jackson Tea Party.
And that's a statewide newspaper.
And it's a statewide newspaper. It's free. And it has many, many articles of high importance to people who don't have the internet.
Now, people can get that when they come to one of our meetings, and it's just been published. So if people go to the NewJerseyTeaPartyCoalition.org website, there's an opportunity to find out when our meetings are, where they are. We meet the third Tuesday.
Yes, of every month.
Of every month.
And routinely we meet in Rochelle Park, but we do have meetings in other locations, so it's best they check out the website first.
Right.
If they do not have access to the website, they can write us at P.O. Box 45, Cliffside Park, New Jersey.
And there is no real membership because we're just individuals who are concerned about our country. And there really is no leadership. It's just we the people, and we're the ones that are fighting. And join the fight, folks. Go to NewJerseyTeaPartyCoalition.org, get involved, become a member of We the People. Be a citizen. Be an individual that will save America from ruin as our country just overspends and overspends and overtaxes. We know how it hurts our pocketbooks, but you can do something. Join with us. Become a part of a great movement. We want you to just have an opportunity here. So join by just signing on in an email and saying, I want to be a part of New Jersey Tea Party Coalition, and we'll welcome you with open arms with the other hundreds of individuals from Northeast New Jersey. You were saying that there were thousands. I think it's close to 10 to 12,000. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your support. And see us next time at Tea Time with the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition.
It's tea time. We're taxed enough for